The Vorthak had perfected the art of the hunt across 17 star systems. Its chitinous limbs moved without sound across the metal deck plating of the derelict research station, each step calculated to avoid the slightest vibration that might alert its prey. 8 feet of evolved killing machine, the creature had never failed to claim its quarry in over 3 centuries of existence. This hunt should have been simple. The distress beacon had drawn it here like countless others. Another abandoned human outpost, another easy meal. Humans were soft, slow, and predictable. They panicked when cornered, made noise when they should be silent, and died quickly when the Vorthak's razor-sharp mandibles found their throats. But something was wrong. The station's corridors stretched into darkness, emergency lighting having failed long ago. The Vorthak's thermal vision painted the walls in cold blues and purples, showing no heat signatures, no signs of life. Yet the beacon continued its plaintive call, suggesting at least one survivor remained. It had been hunting for 3 hours when it first heard the sound. Singing. The Vorthak froze, its 6 legs locked in perfect stillness. In all its years of hunting humans, it had never heard one sing while being stalked. They screamed, they whimpered, they pleaded for mercy in their weak, trembling voices. But singing? The behavior was so anomalous that the creature's predatory instincts momentarily faltered. The voice was male, carrying a simple melody that echoed strangely through the empty corridors. There were no words the Vorthak could understand, just a haunting tune that seemed to wrap around the station's bones like a living thing. The song was beautiful in a way that the creature's pragmatic mind couldn't quite process. Following the sound, the Vorthak moved deeper into the station's heart. Its thermal vision finally registered a heat signature ahead. A single human form sitting in what appeared to be the main laboratory. The figure wasn't hiding, wasn't running, wasn't exhibiting any of the fear responses the Vorthak had come to expect. He was simply sitting in the darkness singing. The predator approached with increased caution. This could be a trap, though humans rarely possessed the cunning for elaborate deceptions. Their survival instincts were too crude, too emotional. Yet something about this situation triggered ancient warnings in the Vorthak's genetic memory. Predator instincts that had kept its species alive for millennia. Through the laboratory's transparent aluminum viewing window, the Vorthak observed its prey. The human was middle-aged, wearing the standard blue jumpsuit of a research technician. His back was to the door, and he sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by what appeared to be scattered equipment and personal belongings. The man's voice rose and fell in gentle cadences, the melody both melancholy and oddly comforting. The Vorthak's mandibles clicked involuntarily, a sound that should have alerted any prey within 100 meters. But the human didn't flinch, didn't turn, didn't interrupt his song. He simply continued singing as if he were alone in the universe. This was wrong. Everything about this situation violated the natural order of predator and prey. The Vorthak's confusion deepened into something approaching unease. The creature activated the door mechanism and stepped into the laboratory. Still, the human didn't react. The Vorthak moved closer, its claws extending, thermal vision confirming that the man was indeed alive. Heart beating steadily, body temperature normal, no signs of injury or illness. Yet he continued to sing. "You're finally here," the human said without turning around, his voice carrying the same gentle quality as his song. "I was wondering when you'd arrive." The Vorthak's entire body tensed. How could the human have known? No prey had ever detected its approach before the killing strike. "I heard your ship land 3 hours ago," the man continued conversationally. "Interesting design. Biomechanical hybrid with neural interfaces, if I'm reading the electromagnetic signatures correctly. My name is Dr. Marcus Chen, by the way. I've been waiting for you." Waiting? The concept made no sense in the context of predator and prey. The Vorthak's mandibles spread wider, preparing for the killing strike, but something held it back. The human's calm demeanor was so completely at odds with every hunting experience in the creature's memory that it hesitated. "You're confused," Dr. Chen observed, finally turning to face the towering predator. His eyes showed no fear, only a deep, weary sadness. "You expected me to run, to hide, to scream. That's what your kind feeds on, isn't it? Not just flesh, but fear. Terror makes the meat taste better." The Vorthak's thermal vision detected no deception in the human's words. His heart rate remained steady, his body temperature constant. Where was the prey response? Where was the delicious fear that seasoned every kill? "I've been alone here for 6 months," Dr. Chen continued, his voice never losing its gentle tone. Everyone else evacuated when the plague ship crashed in the asteroid field nearby. But someone had to stay and monitor the containment fields. Someone had to make sure the infection didn't spread to inhabited systems. The human gestured to the equipment scattered around him. "These are my family," he said simply. "Pictures, letters, recordings. My daughter's first steps, my wife's laugh, my son's graduation speech. I've been listening to them, remembering them, singing the lullabies I used to sing to the children." Something cold and unfamiliar crawled up the Vorthak's spine. The human's words painted a picture that the creature's predatory mind struggled to process. Sacrifice, duty, love. These concepts existed only as weaknesses to be exploited. Yet in this human, they seemed to create a strength that the Vorthak couldn't understand. "The beacon isn't a distress call," Dr. Chen said, his eyes meeting the creature's multifaceted gaze. "It's a warning. The system is quarantined. The plague is still contained, but only barely. I've been singing because I wanted my last days to be filled with something beautiful instead of fear." The Vorthak lowered its claws. For the first time in its long existence, it felt something other than hunger, or the satisfaction of a successful hunt. The emotion was alien, uncomfortable, and completely unwelcome. Dr. Chen smiled, actually smiled at the towering predator. "You can kill me if you want. I'm not afraid anymore. I've done my job, protected billions of lives, and remembered the people I love. But if you do kill me, you'll have to maintain the containment fields yourself. Do you know how to prevent a plague that could sterilize entire star systems?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. The Vorthak realized with growing unease that it had never encountered prey that could negotiate from a position of apparent weakness. The human's calm acceptance of death somehow robbed the hunt of all meaning. Minutes passed in silence. Then, to its own amazement, the Vorthak found itself backing toward the door. Every instinct screamed at it to kill, to feed, to complete the hunt. But something stronger, something it couldn't name, held it back. At the threshold, the creature paused. Dr. Chen had resumed his singing, the same haunting melody that had first drawn the predator to this place. But now the Vorthak understood what it was hearing. Not the last desperate gasps of dying prey, but something infinitely more powerful. The sound of a human soul refusing to be broken. The Vorthak left the station in silence, its hunt incomplete for the first time in 3 centuries. As its bioship lifted away from the asteroid field, it could still hear the echo of Dr. Chen's song, and for the first time in its existence, it wondered if there might be more to the universe than simply predator and prey. In the laboratory, Dr. Chen continued singing, alone but no longer afraid, his voice carrying across the dark between stars like a promise that some things could never be hunted, never be killed, never be conquered. Humanity's greatest strength, the Vorthak realized too late, had never been their technology or their weapons. It was their refusal to surrender their souls, even in the face of certain death.